So these are the slides. So we are more talking about today about the cyberspace and cybersecurity. So first of all, this cyberspace. So this definition is given by Nexus of Cybersecurity and Public Policy. Guys, my voice is fine. Can you hear me properly?
Yeah, we
Is
can
there
hear you.
distortion or any voice or like that or any disturbance?
No, it's fine.
Okay, thank you so much.
No problem.
So Nexus of Cybersecurity and Public Policy, they have given actually cyberspace, what it consists of is artifact based on or dependent on the computers and communication technology. So where there is a computer and there are multiple of the nodes and there are communications in between. So these communication technologies all together is the cyberspace. And what actually the main thing why these computers are there, why these nodes are there, why the communication is happening is for the to retain the information or to share the information. So artifacts are what of these? Use, store, handle, and then process. And the interconnection among that the various elements is for what? For the sharing between all the nodes. So this is we called as cyberspace. Okay, now we go to inside the cyber, where we need to secure the cyberspace is the cyber security. So the exact of this cybersecurity provides by ITU, the International Telecommunication Union Telecommunication Standardization Sector, under the recommendation X.1201. So which is mainly is the document named as this overview of cybersecurity. So cybersecurity is actually the collection of tools, policies, security concepts, security guards, guidelines, risk management approach, actions, trainings for the HR or the people, department to department, it varies, the best practices under it, assurance and technologies that are used to protect the cyberspace. So all of these things that help in what? That help in protection. Protection of the cyberspace. So this what the cyberspace environment and organization of users assets. What are assets? The devices. Assets are the devices or whatever that comes in the environment and comes in the cyberspace, like the previous. So all this, the devices and everything, switches and everything, what comes here are the assets. And includes what? Connected computer devices, personal infrastructure, application, services, telecommunication systems, all of these, whatever, and that also stored the information in the cyberspace environment. So cybersecurity strives to ensure the attainment and maintenance of the security properties of the organization and user bases against the relevant security risks. So this cybersecurity actually it ensures the maintenance of this all security policies or properties, the organization or on the user's asset, so that to avoid the security risks in the cyberspace environment. The general security objectives comprise the following. What are those? Availability, so that we can strengthen them, so that we can assure that the availability is there, integrity is there, and which may include authenticity. Authenticity of what? Authenticity of information, that the information that is coming, the emails and everything, what we are reading or is downloading, or information that we are collecting is from the authorized party or authorized person. So, and without any non-repudiation, and the confidentiality is there. So under that, we have the risks and we have the asset. What are the risks? The Amaya of the extent to which an entity is threatened. So entity is threatened by a potential circumstances, which can be by the hacker or by the malicious behavior, or event at typically function of. What are those? The adverse impact means the impact, or which is like that can destroy, or which can make some services that really is required but got unavailable. It can be the events that occur. The events can be local, the events can be external, the events can be not by hacker, that can be with the errors, with the problems in our network. So it all together, the events can be there. So the assets that are contained in the information system or a service provided by a system or a system capability, such as processing power or communication bandwidth, or an item of a system equipment, like such as hardware, firmware, software, documentation, or a facility that houses system operations, that have the, like, it provides a system to get operatable and the required equipment to get the job done. So all comes under ACID. So underneath the cybersecurity, or we can say more broaden, or the information security comes in. Sometimes, if we see here that in practice, actually, the term of cybersecurity and the information are interchangeable. Means some people, they use information security, and before also in the 4 or 5 years before, 6 years before, they are mostly not 6 years. I can say about 8 or 9 years before. We are using this term, information security. Then when this cyberspace, cyber war, and these things come, then we need to ensure the security of cyberspace. Then that's why the cybersecurity, the buzzwords appears. So the information security, if you see, the preservation of confidentiality, integrity, and availability of what? Of information. So in addition, or other properties such as authenticity, accountability, can also be means, if we see here that under the cybersecurity which is coming, all of these, it also means when it's really mean, it depends on the task, it depends on the scenario, the sensitivity is there, accountability is required or not, then it will jump in non-repudiation and the reliability. That's why reliability requires more and more this efficiency. Based on the system efficiency, the reliability grows. So it depends on the scenario, these things are involved or not. But information security means it includes all of these things, which have this confidentiality, integrity, and availability, the first of all, and then onwards, authenticity until reliability. What comes in the network security? Okay, so network security, if you see here, the security of the network. So, and on the other side, we can say protection of the network, protecting the network and the services from what? From un, unauthorized or means hackers or the malicious behaviors, whether local, whether external. So all those come under unauthorized modifications or destruction or disclosure and provision of the assurance of the network performance. So whatever the unauthorized, all of these things where there is it can be active or it can be passive to do on the site the modification, or it is a passive attack after certain time, it's completely destroying the networks, it is like a disclosure of the information. So it to protect the network all over the network, it can be a LAN, it can be a private network, it can be a public network, so it comes under network security. So to protect them so that the critical functions correctly can work without, and there is no harmful side effects. So cybersecurity encompasses information security with respect to electronic information and the network security. So the cybersecurity encompasses means this information security with respect of what? With respect of the electronic information. The electronic information means digital information, and the network means digital information and the sharing of the digital information. So information security is also concerned with physical, for example, paper-based information. So information security, also the paper-based, also the information comes. That is the reason why in practical, some people they use cybersecurity, and still some of the people still they use information security. So if you see that information security is what we have to uh, address the essential objectives of the complete to uh, ensure the information security, to ensure we need to have 24/7 accountability monitoring. The data or the services should be available 24/7. The data and the information should be authentic. So the integrity is like it have authenticity, it have the non-repudiation. So this integrity should be also addressed. Confidentiality, that the that whatever the sharing or means whatever the information is mean transferring, it is confidential. So the confidentiality is there with the, so that the uh, in between, until it reaches the destination from the source, the privacy is protected. or even whatever the owner, uh, its information or the person information, whatever the information they like, suppose a person, a person or a body, they don't want to share a birth date. So this is if the information is shared over the network, or with other party, it will be ensured that the birthday is not included. So this is the privacy, or we say the confidentiality, to ensure. So all together, this is objective 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So all these fives ensure information security. Okay, guys. So we go more into this definition. Actually, already in the previous slide I described, but we can see here availability. So the properties of the system or a system resource being accessible or usable or is operational upon what? Upon demand. That is the reason why when I say 24/7, so demand can be at any time. So the availability should be 24/7. So whenever the demand is there, so it is being served by the system to the user. So by an authorized system entity. So the services, it is operational, the service is provided, but it should be authorized. It is authentic. According to the performance specification for the system. So performance is also varies from system to system. A system is available if it provides services. So you see, it is available if it provides the services. According to the system design, whenever the user requests them. So this is availability, that whenever the user requests, it is served. What is integrity? The property that data has not been changed, destroyed, or lost in an unauthorized or accidental manner. So what you see, as I am telling you, that events can be different. Events can be self-generated. Events can be generated by hackers or enemies. So accidental manners is by what? Like suppose we have a system error or something. So it is accidental manner. The system do mal behavior. So and that is why sometimes the hard drives got a problem, the storage system got a problem, or the system goes down, or sometime heat up and burn, or blah blah. Unfortunately, if this kind of condition happen, then it is the accidental members. So unauthorized is more based on like hackers, they perform the uh, attacks, or they perform the active attacks or the passive attacks. So to what? Sometime to change, sometime to destroy all over, like delete, sometime to lose it, or nowadays we also have this ransomware attacks, which is like it is the data is not changed. Yeah, somehow it is changed, like it is encrypted, and then they say that we need you need a key for this, and if you need a key to unencrypt your data or de-encrypt your data, then give us this much amount, or other requirements, whatever the other party have. Okay, then we go to authenticity, the property of being genuine and being able to be verified and trusted. So trusted is Trusted is when it is verified. When the data or when the information is verified, then it is trusted. So if it is not verified, the genuinity is not verified for the data or the information, it cannot be trusted. So when it is verified and we see that, okay, the data or the information is genuine, then we trust it. This means verification that users are who they say they are. So, and that each input arriving at the system came from the trusted source or the source that we actually meant from. So this is the authenticity. So now we go to this non-repudiation, which is assurance that the sender of information is provided with the proof of delivery. So, and the recipient is provided with the proof of sender's identity. So there are two things here, that the proof of delivery is there, that the data or the information which is required, it has been delivered or reached and got it by the destination, at the destination or the receiver. And then there is a proof of sender identity. So this shows that means it's also the same as this authenticity. So when the sender identity is checked, so it is authentic. So the proof of sender's identity is there. So need can be later deny having processed the information. So if both of these, any of one of them is having an issue, then it can be denied also. So now we go to confidentiality. The property that data is not disclosed to the system entities unless they are being authorized. By whom? By the owner of the data to the known data. So then it is confidential until here. So when there is the data is confidential, so it means that the system is providing the confidentiality. Accountability. Yes, we have to monitor, we have to check, we have to track the records and everything, so that we can afterwards check, afterward do some kind of updations if there are like errors or problems that appear in monitoring, so we can update. So what are these? What are the inside? The property of a system or a system resource that ensure that the actions of system entity may be traced uniquely. So you see that when we are doing the accountability, means two things are there in accountability. One is the monitoring 24/7, and then secondly, we monitoring means that suppose whatever the monitoring or accountability having two things underneath. One is the recording of data, means whatever the data is passing or whatever the behavior is going on, the user login, user log out, the packets, how many packets come in, what kind of packets are coming in or going out. All this it comes means it's recorded. It's it's saved, and then also is saved, and as well as it is being checked. Sometimes alarms generated, sometimes they are fine. They are sure that there is some problem or actual misbehavior occurs. Sometimes there are false positives, means that actually there is no problem, actually there is no incident, or actually there is no attack or like this, but unfortunately the systems misbehave due to some unfortunate interruptions. Or can be monitoring system, can be this the system that is recording or is checking the behavior of the data while saving or whether transferring. So it can be that the system have got an interruption, system got restart. So this is also comes under false positives. Okay, guys. So what is cybersecurity dilemmas? It's based on technology, policy, and incentives. So summarizes the challenges in developing an effective cybersecurity system as follows. What are those? Number one is this scale and complexity of cyberspace, the scale and then the complexity. So yeah, so are massive. Why? Because it involves numerous mobile devices, numerous workstations, servers, data centers, cloud computing services. Yes, if because cloud, we are talking about multiple servers or distributed networks or distributed servers is a cloud. And when multiple of the services are running, so and computing the multiple services, that called as cloud computing services. Millions of Internet of Things are there, IoT, and they are communicating over the networks. Wide variety of wired and wireless networks are there. Means actually what they are saying here, what they are talking about is the switches, the routers, access points. So all these devices also means thousands are there in the network. The variety of individual and applications, so means the devices and as well as the applications or the services requiring some level of access the resources. So you see, all of these together, they are make a huge uh, and utilizing these, we can say each other, because these based on each other, these devices are uh, computing, or they are processing multiple data together, uh, and they are utilizing the all the sources. So the further the challenges to achieve cybersecurity. So the new applications are there, technology advancements are there. So information technologies, they emerge also together. Like suppose we called it as uh, heterogeneity. So heterogeneous kind of behavior when multiple networks, they work together, like technologies emerge together, they work together to for certain one service to provide one service or multiple services. So this is why we have this this cyberspace is, the scale is very high, and it that is the reason why it also becomes very complex. Secondly, the nature of threats. So when it becomes complex when it have number of networks, number of devices, they are working together. So if one device have suppose three threads, suppose one device have three threads, then suppose if we go for 100 devices, what will happen? The threat multiplies. So organization assets in cyberspace are under constant and evolving threats from vandals, criminals, terrorists, hostile states, and other malevolent actors. Why? As I told you, that constant, it is somehow constant, it remains until one device or until, but it is involving threats. Why? Because daily or every minute the new technologies are appearing, and they are including or they are integrating into the structural deployed network. A variety of legitimate actors, including business and governments, are interested in collecting and analyzing and storing the information. So if you see that day by day, the interest is more. Why? Like suppose if they have to do, we take marketing. So marketing, how they can perform marketing, the company department with massive information. So based on this massive information of other customers or this or that, then they can do marketing, and that's why they are requiring the information. So then what it happens, potentially creating security and privacy risks appear due to this increase of collection of data and storing the data. So the threats are there. What is the threats in actual? So the definition of that, a potential for violation of security that exists. It exists when there is a circumstance, a capability, an action, or an event. So it means the violation of security can exist. Like suppose the hardware is manufactured, it is developed, and there is some issue remains inside, some error remains inside. So then this violation of security will happen. So other circumstances are was that capability that I was talking about, capability, it this issue errors and other that it can provide services or not, or the hardware got heat up or got restart. This is a capability comes under. An action can also arise a violation. An event can also, a certain kind of event can also raise the violation of the security. So it can come up with the breach and can cause harm to the overall system. Can be on the computer level or can be on the whole of the network. So that is a threat, is a possible danger that might exploit the vulnerability. So vulnerability is what? Vulnerability, a flaw or a weakness in the system design or a implementation. So it's actually whenever the manufacturer is generating sometime what happened to market or to take over the market, what the manufacturer do, they doesn't check the device or the complete system properly or with the complete. So like if you know that most of the companies who uh, due to competition, they launch their products in market at the first end to win the market. So that's why what happened, some of the flaws or some of the weaknesses left in the system design, or it can be if there is a network or if there is this complete system, then the implementation, there can be that when the two or three devices that join together and they start working together, then the implementation errors can be occur. And when they are going to operate or they are going to perform the management, then the those weaknesses or flaws will appear. So when it appears, what it is exploited, then those vulnerabilities are exploited to what? To violate the policies. Actually, when this appears, surely the policies are violated. This is what actually I was talking about, that when the manufacturers they didn't address all the policies, what the given policies are. So they doesn't address or comply to the given policies by the international standards. So then what happened? The vulnerabilities remain in the system, remain in the device. And when the vulnerability remain in the device, then it is exploited, and the threat is always there. The threat, when the vulnerability is there, the threat is always there that some hacker or somebody will exploit that vulnerability to perform the attacks. So the user needs, and what it is on the side of security implementation. User, we are the user. So we want most modern and most powerful features, whether it have vulnerabilities. So to do what? For the convenience to use. But actually, okay, convenience of use is there, but if the vulnerability is there, so in the near future, uh, it can be that whole of our system and whole of our information is gone. Like suppose if you update your system into another system and it have vulnerabilities, okay, this system performs very fastly. But what happened? Because you already transfer your information to this new system. Suppose this system got crashed because of that vulnerability, so all of your information will also be lost if in case you don't have backups. That offers anonymity in certain circumstances, and that is secure, but there is inherent conflict between greater ease of use and greater range of options on the one hand and robust security on the other. So means if you have some older system, like suppose if we are talking about the previous version of Windows, that is like more the updates are there, more drivers are there, uh, more of the security concerns are already addressed in the previous version. Yes, latest version already addressed, but with latest version, because there is more like applications are included, more like this interface is changed, more additional hardware libraries are there. So that is the reason why more vulnerabilities are there. Sure, with the passage of time, when they are used, then the issues or error appears, and then you find oh, we got a new updates for the mobile devices, for the Windows, for iOS, for Mac OS, or for any platform or any hardware or device. But over time, people demand more functionality and the greater complexity. Because of that, multiple functionalities, more complexities are there that make the system less secure. That's what I was telling you about, that with the new system, more because we have more applications to help the user or facilitate the user or attract the user, then there are more libraries or more, so that will come up with more complexities. And then with the complexities also vulnerabilities are there. That's why it makes the system less secure. Users and groups. So means this functionality can be for the user or also can be for the complete group. Like suppose if the whole organization is the system update, so there is a group of people that will use the system feel inconvenienced by security mechanisms because of the complexity they try to avoid. So find the ways around those mechanisms to relax from this security requirement. So when they try to relax from the security requirements, then the system is ready to be breached. Okay, so there is a difficulty that in between cost and the benefits. So it is difficult to estimate the total cost of cybersecurity breaches, and therefore benefits of cyber policies and mechanism is more. But at the initial level to deploy or enable or our system according to all the policies, the first and yes, at the first end when we see that okay, it is bunch of money is there, but in front of when the system is breached, in front of that it is actually nothing, because when the system is breached, so all the information is like it is like suppose if it's a ransomware, or it's like suppose the information is destroyed, or the information is being changed. So in all those cases, your whatever the task you are performing, that come up with the delay. Delay can be for 10 minutes, and that delay can last for 1 month, 2 months. So all of that time, you should not only think about that how much money will be required to get the data back. All of that time, whatever, like suppose your industry or your company is running, so all of those 2 months, there will be no any work, and all of still means company have to give the wages, the salaries, the bills, but those 2 months spending is there, the income will not be there. So please add that income also with the breach after breach spendings or expenses. So this complicates the need to achieve consensus on the allocation of resources to secure. So you see that the initial sometime we see that oh, this is a huge money and it is really complicated on the side of the cost. Mostly the people, they see the cost because they don't know much about the benefits. They are not aware about the benefits. So that's why uh, it got complicated. Okay, guys, thank you so much. I hope what I share the details, it helps you all, And if you have any question, please go ahead. Yeah.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Doctor. So far, it's all clear.